Welcome to this video. Today we're going to be talking about why negative self-talk is a gift. You see, a lot of people go to coaches, go to seminars, go to webinars, go to other specialists in order to get rid of their negative self-talk. What most people don't really understand is that everything on the planet serves a purpose. Everything in our consciousness serves a purpose. Everything that we go through or have happened to us or that we see out within nature exists because it has a purpose to be here. And so just like a tree, just like normal conversation, just like what you probably perceive if you're watching this is that positive self-talk has a purpose, negative self-talk also has a purpose, and that's why it exists. If you look at nature, anything that doesn't have purpose always decays away and dies, or always goes extinct, or always, well, most of it has probably never been created. And so we can never actually think of it because it's never had a reason or a purpose to be here. But just like things in nature and just like things of man, which have become obsolete because they no longer have purpose, negative self-talk has a purpose and will never become obsolete. You see, the degree of the negative self-talk that we have is just a feedback mechanism, right? The gift of negative self-talk is that it's a feedback. It gives us feedback from our psychology and sometimes into our physiology from the emotions that the negative self-talk creates in order to wake us up to a few key things. This is the gift of it, okay? There's a few key things that will wake you up to. Number one, unrealistic expectations that you've set on yourself, okay? So whenever we expect ourselves to do something which we're potentially not capable of, okay, which we potentially don't have the skill sets for, we don't have the time for, we don't have the money for, we don't have the resources for, we don't specifically know how to do it or achieve it in the specific way that we want to, and we have these unrealistic expectations on ourselves. The negative self-talk that we get when we don't achieve those things or something gets in the way of us doing that is just a feedback mechanism to let us know that we didn't really look at what was truly required in order for us to achieve that thing. You see, normally when that happens, the negative self-talk that we're receiving is because when we set or decided upon that thing or set that expectation upon ourselves to be able to do that thing, often we set it from a place where we're over-exaggerating whatever it is. So let's say the skill sets that we have in order to achieve that outcome. And so then we end up with feedback, the negative feedback to let us know that, okay, well, we over-exaggerated our skill sets in this situation. And because we over-exaggerated our skill sets in this situation, we didn't achieve the outcome that we wanted. And therefore I've got negative self-talk to wake me up to the fact that I overset the situation or overset what I wanted to achieve based on the skill set that I exaggerated. And so therefore the negative feedback was there to let me know that I didn't look at it correctly. I didn't set this properly. I didn't really crunch it and have a look at the skill sets that were required in order for me to achieve this. And I just thought that I could do it. And so the negative self-talk is there to slap you in the face and wake you up to the fact that, oh shit, I had an unrealistic expectation on myself and that's why this happened. Another reason as to why you receive negative self-talk is because you expect yourself to live outside of your personal value system. Now, without diving too deep into values, just understand your values are an intrinsic motivator of yours that you have created throughout your life through voids or things that you perceive are missing. So for me, growing up, I had a perception that I wasn't smart enough because of an individual in my life who at the time was in grade 1. He was in prep and I was in grade 1. And when he came to school, I remember hearing this story that he read about, that he read all these Encyclopedia Britannicas in grade 1. And I was just like, who is this kid? His name was Ming, by the way. And I remember when I actually met this kid, I was just amazed by him. Now, within a couple of weeks, he was in my grade from prep to 1. And then a couple of weeks later, he went up to grade 6. This kid was like, 6 years old, 5 years old, 6 years old, and his intelligence was intense. And since that moment, I never perceived I was smart enough. I remember the moment when I met him, and I remember learning about the fact that he'd read the encyclopedias, and I just thought, wow, like I'm not smart enough. And so that's driven me my entire life in order to learn. So I have a high value on learning. So whenever we expect ourselves to live outside our values, which you guys may not know about, and if you don't know what your values are, then I invite you to message me and we can potentially jump on a call and we can have a look at the potential of us working together and me helping you to discover that part of yourself in order for you to have a greater degree of clarity, etc. in the future, in your life. But if you expect yourself to live outside your values, you will receive negative feedback. You will receive negative self-talk when you actually can't maintain that thing that you're trying to do. Example, if you've got a high value on family and you love spending all your time with your kids and you love spending all your time with your family, and that's what your life demonstrates, but you consistently keep expecting yourself to start to build a business. And I guess a good example could be is like a multi-level marketing company, because a lot of the multi-level marketing companies focus on, I won't say they focus on, but a lot of mothers. So let's say you're a mother and you're a stay-at-home mother and that's your high value. A lot of mothers get into multi-level marketing. And a lot of them have this crazy expectation on themselves to build these like multi-6 or 7 or 8 figure businesses for their families. But really their highest value is spending quality time and energy and effort with their kids. And so they need to consistently be motivated in order to do anything. But when they're not achieving the results they want, when they're not actually spending time in the business, they receive negative self-talk and they beat themselves up and they self-criticize on themselves because they've expected themselves to do something that is not congruent with them. And so the negative self-talk is a feedback mechanism to let that individual know that it's not important to them, that it's not actually a high value. And so you're receiving feedback in order for you to understand that and to know that within yourself. So negative feedback and negative self-talk is a feedback mechanism of unrealistic expectations, expecting yourself to live outside your values. And then another reason why you can have negative self-talk, I guess this is kind of like another unrealistic expectation, but it is to expect yourself to be one-sided. So what I mean by that is expecting yourself to be happy without sad, or expecting yourself to be intelligent without dumb, or expecting yourself to be resilient without having emotional volatility. You know, having these one-sided expectations, which breaks the laws of the universe on yourself, which again, unrealistic expectation, but this is just an example of, on yourself, you will receive negative self-talk. Oh, fuck, like, why can't I be happy? Like, you're just a piece of shit. Or, man, like, why am I always sad? Like, other people aren't sad. Like, I shouldn't be like this. You know, you're just shit, right? That's negative self-talk because you perceive you should be something, one-sided individual. So your negative self-talk is always a feedback mechanism to wake you up to an unrealistic expectation, living outside your values, expecting yourself to be a one-sided being. So when you understand this is the gift of it. It allows you to adapt and adjust yourself to understand, oh shit, this is just feedback from my psychology and physiology trying to wake me up to these things. And maybe I need to go back and look at myself and reset what I'm doing and how I'm looking at things and my expectations upon myself and how I then adapt myself in the world. And that is the gift of having negative self-talk. Now, a couple of questions that I recommend that you could ask yourself just to discover a deeper knowing and a deeper purpose for you individually, because I'm looking at this as a greater context. And this is the feedback that it is 100% on the money every time with every individual that I've ever worked with, was that what I just spoke to you about. But what I'd actually love to get you to do now is to ask yourself a couple of questions. Now, I've just got them written down here. To ask yourself a couple of questions for you to get a deeper insight to you on some of the benefits and purpose and feedback that it gives to you. So I've got 3 questions for you. The first one is, what purpose does negative self-talk serve for me? How does negative self-talk serve me? Right? When you can ask that question multiple times, you'll start to have a greater appreciation for the negative self-talk. The next question you can ask yourself is, what benefit does the negative self-talk bring to my life in all the areas? Okay, what benefit does it bring to my life? Then the third one is, what feedback is self-talk bringing into my negative self-talk bringing into my awareness? Now, when you ask these questions and you answer these questions, what it'll do is help you to shift your perception of negative self-talk being a bad thing into negative self-talk being purposeful and meaningful and actually revealing something in my life and revealing a purpose and revealing a deep meaning that I didn't see that was there before. This is what you'll receive from asking these questions and answering them. That way you no longer desire to get rid of it. You see, a lot of people want to get rid of their negative self-talk because they can't see the gift and they don't know what to do with it and use it for. They just think it's better gone. They don't know how to adapt from it. This will reveal to you the gifts in this in order for you to then be able to adapt, in order for it to have a greater, deeper meaning and purpose for you in your life, and for you to no longer want to get rid of that party self, for you to no longer want to squash it. Just when it pops up, in order for you to observe it and then to use it as the feedback that it is in order to adapt and adjust yourself and move forward in life. So I hope this helps. So until next week, guys, take care, answer these questions, let me know, send me a message, reveal to me exactly the answers and responses that you gave to these questions. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you on these things. And I look forward to next week. Much love.